Hello and welcome to the Grade Cricketer Podcast. On today's show, the Sheffield Shield is back, Pezzy lad. We're talking Neser fifers, Pope fifers, Siddle's peroxide salad, Webster's Slug, Marnus hitting hundreds, Agar hitting hundreds. But the main question is, can we fuck the picket fence off so we can get the ball back? Maxwell almost hits a 6 in the IPL and Sehwag doesn't rate him. Kohli is good again for now. Sunil Narine chucks it. Ben Stokes is back and Jofra gets an Xbox. And we're talking an English invasion in the BBL this summer and what that'll mean for Bairstow stories. Adam Gilchrist is on the show to discuss winning 21 times in a row, captaining IPL teams, losing World Cup rings, and checking the paper to see which grade teams have made the finals. Hashtag AskTJC involves Flintoff, Trump and tape ball, identity issues, and how to get recognised in 5th grade. This episode is brought to you by Budgie Smuggler, where you can get your customised bucket hats using the code CHAMP at checkout. That's budgiesmuggler.com. You can also check out exclusive content every single week at patreon.com/grade cricketer. My name is Ian Higgins and I'm joined by Pezzy lad Sam Perry. How are you, Pezzy lad?
And I'm great. And another wonderful intro from you. Can I just add one thing to it as well for those...
What's happened?
For those who love this narrative, and it's the only narrative in the IPL worth following, Gilchrist also talks to us about mankads, his view on mankads. He runs the rule over Ponting v Ashwin in the alpha wars that are going on, and you might be surprised at the approach. And if you see this, if you see those words turn up across various cricket websites, well, don't say TGC doesn't break news. Just stop saying it.
Hey, Pez, I want to start the question with some news that was sent in to us from Shehan Dharmasena. He sent us in via Instagram, fan of the show. Comes from an article written in by the Hindustan Times. And let me read it as follows. Medusa Gajir, I believe his name is, stands at 7 feet 6 inches tall and hopes to overtake Mohammad Irfan as the tallest bowler to play international cricket.
Right.
Gujar was part of the player development program of Pakistan Super League side Lahore Qalandars last year and has been sharpening his skills to realise his dream of playing cricket for his country. He says, "My height is a blessing as I can run faster and be the fastest bowler." He was quoted the same by Mail Online. I started training 7 months ago to become a bowler, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a pause. I hope one day I will be the tallest bowler in the world. The tallest bowler presently in the world is Irfan, but unlike the left-arm pacer, Gujar is Pezza, he's a spinner. I was the tallest child in school, and in the neighbourhood, I was already 6 foot tall when I was 10. And by the time I was in high school, I was above 7 feet tall. My parents were worried as I kept growing. They were not able to understand why I was growing taller than my siblings and if it will later cause me any troubles. People now meet me with a smile. They are in awe of me. It makes me feel good. I feel special. I may have trouble doing things like a normal person, but my height is God's gift and I'm thankful to him. I am popular and I enjoy the attention. Now, this is hitting some real KPIs here, Pez, straight off the bat. I mean, the guy's 7 foot 6 and he's rolling out some offies. So there's that.
Yep.
Where do you want to... have you ever been 7 foot 6?
Look, yeah, I mean, when we came across this article, it certainly piqued my interest for the reasons you say. There's a lot of KPIs being ticked there.
Sure.
So yeah, I scoured footage for him. I don't know if you've done that. Have you had a look at?
I've only seen a photo. He's a big boy.
Have you had a look at it?
He's a big boy.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say, I suspect this is some sort of promotional tool from the Lahore franchise, Lahore outfit, because you got to go through plenty of YouTube clips to see him do anything cricket related, and there's one thing. He's being interviewed by a presenter who's obviously significantly shorter than him.
Yeah, he's only 7 foot,
and she underarms a ball to him. He's holding a bat. He doesn't play cricket.
Oh, really?
Nah, he can't
stick.
This is like he wouldn't play like 5th grade village stuff.
Okay, right.
So
interesting. You've deep dived this.
Well, I just wanted to see him roll. I want to see if he gave it any air. I just wanted to see if you're 7'6", can you actually spin up? And what it looks like. Can you actually use your arm?
Yeah.
But
now that's an interesting.
I just wanted to see what height it came from. But so he's already the tallest bowler in the world. All he has to do is deliver a ball and he'd be the tallest.
I like the idea that he wants to be the tallest bowler in the world.
Yeah.
Like he just wants to get bigger.
Because I didn't understand the bit where it's like, I want to be the fastest bowler, but he's a spinner. It's like, well, but perhaps he is bowling fast, but it's so it's so uncoordinated, it's actually manifesting as spin. There's a revolution on the ball.
Yeah.
So people go, oh, you're a spinner. I was like, oh, no, I'm well as fast as I can here.
I like the idea that he's saying because of my height, I can run faster and be the fastest bowler. Now, Usain Bolt ain't 7'6". You know what I mean? Like there is a limit to like the height that encourages athleticism. And
I still want to see the bounce. I still want to see it.
I would. Now I'm thinking. I'm putting my wicketkeeper's brain on here. Okay. Adam Gilchrist on the show. Yeah. And I'm thinking, the skill when you're keeping as a wicketkeeper, keeping up the stumps, you come up with the ball. Now, how the fuck do you stay low when the bowler's 7'6" is coming from fucking 9 feet? I just come up with it.
Rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very selfish from Darcy Gujar. Look, speaking of spinners converting, I mean, we're going to talk about him later in the show, but Bo Webster's done that. And let's call him by his correct name. Yep. Slug, said from the corner of our mouth.
My new favourite player.
He started practicing bowling quick because he's tall. Yep. And he got Labuschagne middle peg.
He got Marnus out. Yeah.
Middle peg yesterday. Hell, slugly.
You ever face a bowler and the ball becomes above the sight screen?
Yes, I have. I can actually, I can't do it. It's, you lose it. It's, I got out embarrassingly that way by losing it out of the side screen and just thought it was going to hit my head and it yorked me and bowled me and I'm not watching the ball.
Yeah, I ducked a slow ball full toss once, hit me like in the knee, but like missed the pad, hit me like the side of the knee and I just didn't. And then they're
always the funniest dismissals.
When I was walking off the field, the bloke coming in goes, didn't pick it up?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all right. I was on 27, so my job was done. Stay in the team next week.
Good point.
Pez, what's on Patreon this week?
Oh, Patreon, premium content. Of course, nothing short of premium content.
It's a nice community there.
It's a nice community. It's a growing community. Last week we occasionally post bonus interviews. Last week we spent sort of 10 to 15 extra minutes with the man that we all call Subway.
Subway.
He calls himself that when he played for Australia. There's nothing rude about it.
Nothing.
He acknowledged it.
Yeah, horses
So
mouth.
we talked to him about big mitts and his big mitts. Genetic freaks, Aussie rules, Brett Lee's birthday. He was on a boat with Brett Lee that had, George Gregory, Richard Cheekwee, Shane Watson and the piano man from Minsky's. Yeah. You can get that. You're going to get that on Patreon. We had a message from a bloke through the week, really lovely message saying, hey guys, just want to let you know I was listening to the Ask TGC while driving and when you guys read out the part about one of the teams being called the Aryans, I started laughing so hard I literally crashed my car. Keep up the good work. So I hope James is well. And you're going to have to listen to that if you want to know the context of it.
Yeah, context is important.
A club team in New Zealand calling themselves the Aryans. And there's a bit of a history lesson there too. You get access to the archive if you joined. You get interviews with Zampa, Harry Conway, Fraser, New York-style long reads, about dealing with Saturday's dream analysis from our resident depth psychologist. Some messed up dreams come in, which we love and respect. Now, just again, this isn't compromising the Monday show. Monday show hasn't changed. As you will know, we've got Gilchrist on today. Sorry, a couple of complaints from people. Oh, he's been on before, has he? Oh, sorry. He's got a worldie on. Pardon me. Tune into your other casts.
He came on 94 episodes ago.
Yeah. This show's chock-a-block. But if you want that premium gear, get it at patreon.com/growcricketer.
There's a Sheffield Shield is back.
Yeah, baby.
And what bet? Now, first question, KO, are they going to sort some minis out for us?
A bit long, though.
They are a bit long. They're cricket guys for quite a long time. Now, my favourite thing so far, Pez, is that it's the most grade cricket I've seen on television.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Not in the skill level. Skill level is fantastic. Some great players going around.
Nothing
Marnus,
against the skills.
Slug, Agar. It's nice to see friends doing well.
Yeah.
It's the nature of like blokes having to go get the ball. There's freeways in the background. Yeah. There's a couple of people dawdling around the ground. It's very grade cricket, and they're being played on grade cricket grounds, i.e. the name of one of the grounds is Park 25. Parks 1 through 24 were unavailable, I believe.
Yeah.
And, there's just a bit of cricket going on. And it's October.
Single camera.
Now, October was my least favourite time of the year to play cricket because I wasn't into the season yet. I wasn't sure if the team was good yet. And it wasn't about me at that point. It was like, can this team that I'm going to try and stay in by getting 15 to 27 every week?
I'm in the wrong grade. I've been incorrectly graded.
So I'm angry. I'm angry. But, my hands hurt. I've got August hands still. Stings, high catches, slips catches. I don't want it. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with my life.
Hands are soft and supple from the, skin regimes throughout the winter.
I'm 26 and, some of my guys are, the guys I grew up playing with are not playing anymore. That most of them got girlfriends, a couple of kids knocking about all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And
everyone's getting older. Alcohol's starting to hit you a bit harder.
You get your first hangover when you're about 26, 27. Yeah. All of a sudden, you're 35 and you're playing threes just to look after the young guys. But are you? Anyway, that's all the time we got for this week.
Well, Just to like amplify that point about it being grade cricket
Please.
versus single cameras, I like it. Dan
I don't mind that.
Brady broke the news yesterday that KO is going to affix cameras at both ends, so we don't have to look at the rear ends of players anymore. Okay, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
I like the single camera
And all that comes with it.
and all that comes with it. Sean Marsh. Oh, well, I don't mean that.
Great cover drive, even better legs.
But yeah, I turned it on within sort of. I wanted to watch Mitch Swepson bowl.
Yeah, right.
And
Flat,
it was
isn't
at the wrong. It flat and fast, and it's not his fault. Flat and fast, and not his fault. But that's a separate issue. That's a different cast.
Sounds like a chanting scene from Fight Club. His name was Robert Paulson.
Anyway, Swepson's trying his best to get into his spell.
He is trying his
and he's bowling 4 or 5 overs of flat stuff, going at 2 and over. Good on him. Decides to toss one up. Just gets it a bit wrong. Ben McDermott down the track. Bouges it through mid-on, along the deck, beats mid-on, and goes for 4. Say no more, except ball goes into the picket fence, or does it? No. Can it careers its way through the gap in the picket fence? All right, that's all right. There's a mobile steel fence there to stop the ball.
Bit of construction.
No, underneath that. And now it's on the bike track.
And what does that mean?
And that means 2 cyclists in Lycra are riding past, trying to avoid it. And this is when the grey cricketer in me just wakes up. Oh, this is good. This is good gear.
Couple of tweets here.
And this is when you start seeing the grey cricket of Shield cricket start to come together, start to converge.
Yeah.
Camera pans, but there's about 3 or 4 replays, poor Swepson, of this great shot from McDermott. You see the cyclist actually avoid the ball. The camera pans back to the players at first slip. It's their rear end too. So it's like you're in the pavilion watching it, like your number 7 about to come in later. All of them got their arms folded. They're unimpressed. And later I learn that when the ball exits the ground under the new COVID rules, it actually needs to be disinfected. So you Swepson.
Of course it does.
You've worked your ass off to get into the spell, decided to give one just a little bit of air, bang, modern bats, technology, mid-on misses it. Cyclists are riding over the ball. It's on the concrete path, and now it's got to be completely disinfected. You fucked it up for your quicks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. I like the aesthetic of the whole thing.
I like watching relatable cricket. I've had enough of the test matches. Cricket. I don't know what it's like to, walk out the Lords, through the members, cheese and bacon ties.
Swepson's just hands on hips going, he's been practicing all winter, the incumbent spinner after Lions, or the next cab. And now he's got disinfected balls just from just slightly missing. Just slightly missing, and now his ball's going to be disinfected. It's got concrete everywhere.
What about the bloke at mid-on who's just worked on the ball for 30 overs? Like, fucking hell. What a waste of time this all is. Now, when a ball leaves the ground, Pez, I'm talking grade games now, and the ball is near enough to someone where they could just take 2 steps out of their way to just throw it back over, but they don't. Now, what's the etiquette there of I'm talking not
a member of the public,
not in COVID times, member of the public, You know what I mean? It's just, can you just fucking throw the ball? You know what I mean?
Well, I understand why they'd be reluctant, because grade cricketers think that once they're on the ground, the park in that area is sacrosanct. It's like heritage listed. No one come on it. Don't walk your dog on it, even though you're a ratepayer. This is grade cricket, didn't you know? And the only people who feel that prestige for it are the cricketers themselves. To any other normal member of the public, they're like, here's some weirdos.
Yeah.
Playing their little games on Saturday. So I can understand why members of the public would be like, I don't know if I want to touch the ball because I'm probably going to do something wrong. And they'd actually be correct having that view.
Yeah.
They just I don't blame them just wanting to stay completely away from the entire orbit of this, whatever this ritual is that's going on.
There's a Ouija board in the middle, there's something going on.
They're doing something.
There's some sort of process, a brain to the gods, There's a guy who keeps tapping his foot on the ground, he's next in. Someone's trying to pick up a bat, don't touch that. Yeah. I remember I played a game back in Sydney as it was against Mossman, and one of their lower grade grounds was at Balmoral. Beautiful picture scene down there. For those who aren't from Sydney, it's the North Shore, very well-to-do area. And
you see the harbour, you can see actually the sun just dancing off the top of the harbour. During waves.
Just dancing diamonds on the setting a real scene here. And
Mossman are shit too, so you're usually doing well.
Yeah, that's right. And I actually missed out that day, it's a shame. But, you can actually see part of the race of the fucking Tour de France, the Sydney to the Hobart. You can see the Tour de France there.
Easily mixed up.
It's just white people just cycling on a Saturday. Anyway, so during this game, this guy, he's this quintessential North Shore posh guy. He's wearing boat shoes, polo shirt, tailored shorts. The kind of guy who slick back, kind of silvery grey hair, had like the Australian tucked underneath his arm and a coffee, and like he basically walked through like third slip.
He probably owned the ground.
It was a baron.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was so funny seeing the reaction of like, at that point, I think I played grade cricket for over 10 years, and I was like looking, I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And he's just like so blasé about this. I don't give a fuck about what you cunts are doing here on a Saturday. This is my ground.
And this is my route home.
Yeah, my house is worth $18 million and I can walk across third slip if I want to. Fuck off.
But
What
you're
are
at
you
that
gonna do?
age when you play grade cricket, if you're sort of 23 on average, for example, where like the social hierarchy changes. Like whatever that guy has achieved in life or wherever he thinks he's standing is in the feudal society that we live in.
Yes.
That doesn't apply to grade cricket. You sort of feel like you're a king or a baron next to him. You're like, what are you doing?
He had no rig.
He's done. Exactly. He's got a rig. No.
He had nice calves though.
Right.
What's the deal with older men having nice calves?
I can't answer that for you.
Interesting, mate. We'll get that on the show next week. What else happened in the Shield? So should we start with? We'll start with Queensland and Tasmania then.
Okay.
And so Neser got some wickets. He's probably the. Well, it's interesting with next cabs, isn't it, mate? Because like,
I fear for Neser.
well, is he not allowed to just be an amazing Shield bowler who's just bowling in a time where he's just not going to get picked because he's behind 5 really good bowlers?
I guess there's safety in that, isn't there? I mean, we're always looking for safety. It's
I'm always looking
overdone
for
now.
safety.
But like, I want those numbers next to Neser's name.
Yeah.
You know, and all he does is just perform. But I fear for him in the sense that it's like, it's just people who watch it will say he's as quick as the other blokes in the nets. The Aussies, that is, when he's in and around the squad. Yeah. But he just seems to be just that 5% underneath them in terms of weaponry. And then you've got the new brigade like your Richardson, Jai Richardsons, etc., who you feel like they're the next to come in if something goes wrong. I'd love Neser to get a game, again, just because of the novelty of a new face and stuff like that. But I fear for him. I fear for his Australian
storyline for someone to get their first Test wicket, then we can all feel for that moment. And then we're like, no, bring back Cummins now.
Yeah.
Can he be not injured again?
Exactly.
That kind of stuff. So Neser had 5 for 32 off 17, great figures. Nice. And he's probably going to do that all summer. He's going to, great bowler.
Yeah.
But there is a certain weight to a bowler having a heavy ball. There's something about the ball, the trajectory of the ball. It's like, I know like American athletes say like when a great quarterback throws a ball, it hits differently in the hand.
Right.
When a great football player passes you, a soccer player passes you, the ball has a certain weight to it behind it. It's like they do something with the, geometry of the ball itself that can't be tangible. And maybe that's a Neser thing.
But that would kind of encourage his selection then if he's got the intangible.
But I'm saying he doesn't.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Never faced him.
Yep, that's right.
Slug Webster at 54, and he was also bowling some offies.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really in this because I want to say Slug.
Yeah. I think the listeners are, Oh, man, it's good to see Slug do well. He sort of steadied the ship for Tassie. We've lost a couple.
True.
So
true.
I wonder if is Slug going for is he an outsider for the Flintoff role? I mean, if he's starting to bowl pace at his height, hitting 50 odds, and move over Cameron Green, Slug. Let's get Slug into the side.
Fuck, I want Slug in the side.
How good would that be?
Don't we all want a Slug?
Sure, Agar hit 100 odd not out at 6. And
not as fun to say.
No,
not as fun to say.
His bowl seam up.
Hey, Siddle's got peroxide hair.
Well, yeah, and the official term is platinum blonde.
Platinum blonde.
He's gone platinum blonde.
Some athletes in the Northern Hemisphere did this for a period of time, like Odell Beckham Jr., Neymar did it for a bit, Messi did it for a little bit.
I mean, as we know, Australia's usually a year or two behind fashion-wise.
Yeah, internet-wise. We're getting fast internet here soon. It's going to be good.
Soon, is it? Yeah, Jonah Hill did it for a bit. I mean, Bieber did it a few years ago.
Yeah, I think Bieber might have started it.
Yeah, Siddle's gone platinum blonde, so that's good. Nice and novel.
It's just staying in the realm. Well, Marnus is a story. He hit 167.
Yes.
167.
That's what you want to see. It's again, it's more safety. Like, yeah, okay, sure, he's knocking around Nathan Ellis and Slug Webster and not Shami and Ashwin. But, these are the numbers I expect next to the Australian number 3. It's the numbers we all expect. It's good to see. Yeah, okay, he was dropped 3 times in his 20s and Slug dropped 2 of them. Yeah. First one was tough. But you can have all the marketing in the world, but nothing delivers interest like 3 figures next to the Australian number 3's name. It's tonic. Now, we want to let the listeners know.
Safety. The Australian number 3 hitting runs. That's Bradman shit.
Our guest on the show next week is Marnus Labuschagne.
Yes, he's on the show.
We spoke to him last week. We're going to play it for you next week. But in lieu of this 160-odd that he's hit, we actually asked him ahead of this innings how he feels about averaging 63.4. If he felt like, look, he's expecting that to come down because he's only played 12 innings for Australia or 12 matches or whatever.
Yep.
It is. And just a little preview snippet of what he said that I think will help us all feel quite safe. Here's Labuschagne answering that question about averaging 63.4, if he can keep it up there.
Absolutely not. I want it to go up.
Yeah.
So for me, that's about finding ways to keep scoring runs, and I think that comes back down to that limitations, and not putting any of those limitations on yourself about what you can achieve.
He doesn't want limitations. He goes.
Mate,
he wants it.
Him. So Labuschagne could be on the verge of a big summer. He's a big boy. He has a big summer. He's a big boy.
One of the big four boys.
One of the big four big boys.
Yeah.
Top 4 big boys.
Why not?
And he's just
he can come out of India.
He's a game changer in terms of like what he does for the Australian cricket team
100%.
in the batting line, because Australia is so heavily relied on Smith and Warner's runs at home. Smith sort of more globally, but like Warner at home especially. But like Australia's relied on that for best part of 3 years.
Yep.
And with Labuschagne in there, if he has another summer where he averages, 60, something like that. I mean, he changes the entire dynamic of how strong this team could be.
He threads the entire thing together. Yeah. It just means we're just a number 6 generational talent away from being a really, a very strong side, number 1 side. So Marnus is everything.
And if you piece that together in terms of the next big series after this one, because obviously the next series is the most important series, and the India hasn't started yet. But you think about like how England are going to get Smith out in Australia. That's hard enough. Warner, completely different proposition. I'd be surprised if Broad had the same level of success as he did in England. Warner's got a great record here, obviously. Smith, hard enough to get out. But then you add Marnus into that as well. I mean, fuck. And then, of course, then that means that, then that makes Travis Head's job easier. That makes Wade's job easier or whatever. Tim Payne has less pressure to try and score 50s or 30s down at number 7 or 8. But then, we were just saying before, Pez, this is the exact time where I feel like Australia are then one more worldy batsman away from being a fucking phenomenal team again. And this
presuming everyone else stays good, like Smith and Warner keep doing the business.
Right. And Warner could be like a year or two away from falling off a cliff. He could be. Or he could fucking explode. Figuratively. And so this is the time historically where Australia's had like your Michael Clarke at number 6, your Ponting at number 6, Damien Martin, like that level of like that young person coming at number 6 to like gel them into the team. Who's that young person, Pez? Who is it? Will Bukowski.
Yeah, exactly.
Will Bukowski. Yeah. That young, he has to be under the age of 22 and he has to be a worldie.
And there's only one man that can be.
Yeah.
Slugly, indeed. I'm going to say, there's a bit of cricket before then as well, he goes. I mean, people haven't spoken about this, but Australia, depending on COVID, etc., but they've got to go to South Africa. They've got to do that tour again for a test series just after this summer. They got South Africa and then there's meant to be the World Test Championship at Lords, which unless there's a absolute disaster in India, pump us, is going to be Australia v India at Lords for like the greatest, heavyweight battle of all time.
Yeah, and we should probably go to that as well, shouldn't we?
Yeah, and we'll be able to, I presume.
Oh, yeah.
We'd have an exception.
Yeah. Well, Trump's got the vaccine now, which he decided to take. So
good point.
We'll just go.
He's just coming up to 10 to 14 days after that, isn't he?
That's true.
Should be good.
South Australia, Western Australia, Pez.
Yep.
What's the big takeaway from this? Agar runs, Josh Inglis runs, Weatherald runs, or is it Cameron Green's 50 or Lloyd Pope's fifer?
Weatherald was platinum blonde last year.
Yeah, he was.
He started with 100 now. Quarter piece on cricket.com.au. Weatherald's found the magic zone. You know how he's found the magic zone, he goes?
What the fuck's that?
Let me tell you. So, bit of a guitarist, Jake Weatherald, and he was just watching some YouTube clips on how to get better at guitar. Came across Tom Morello, the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine, of course. Tom Morello's a late starter as a guitarist. Okay? So, in order to catch up the ground that he felt he needed to catch up, he simply just did 8 hours of guitar practice a day. 8 hours a day. And Jake Weatherald started late in cricket too. So, you know what I'll do? Following Tom Morello's example, I'm going to bat for 8 hours a day during pre-season. And that's what he's done, on top of his South Australia pre-season commitments as well. So he's been batting for 8 hours a day, sometimes only 4. And Callum Ferguson says it's awesome. Travis Hess says it's awesome. He's been utilising like the psychologist South Australia has as well, 3 or 4 times a week. I just liked it because it's like, that's kind of like if you are into your cricket, loves a circuit, hates hitting cricket balls.
Right, yeah.
That's how, the dream of what you would do as a pro cricketer. It's like, I will just hit balls for as long as I can hit balls and get guys to throw them to me. Thousands and thousands and thousands. All you do, you eat cricket balls, bang, 100.
Yeah.
Start the season. Now, I just mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Australia has a settled lineup. We keep hearing they're settled. You know, Langus is settled. I know the side, etc. I think Joe Burns, for example, who missed out the other day, I reckon he's only, he'd have to prove himself in the first couple of tests to keep that gig. And it's not going to be easy. Who'd replace him? There's a bit of a queue.
Slug?
Bit of a queue. Slugley, of course.
Open the batting as well.
Can he? He can do what he wants. Get him, Slug. Just disgusting.
I know what you mean. My takeaway from that is, like, first when you said he's batting for 8 hours a day, my lower back is fucking killing me. You know when you first come back to cricket and you haven't picked up a stick for you and bat, and that action of sort of like just half bending over in your stance.
Your forearms
fucking kills your lower back. I mean, it's a couple of athletes having a chat about what it's like to play pro sports.
Absolutely.
But then I was thinking, so like, why do we insist on, like, our athletes and our cricketers who are the beacons of hope in our society for the safety?
For all of us.
For all of us.
Not just guys who played grade cricket 99 to 2008.
No, exactly. Like, why do they have to be, like, great people as well? Like, Jake Weatherall, he could be a great guy, but he's hitting cricket balls 8 hours a day. Like, how well-rounded a person is he going to be? He's doing that to achieve his life, goal, dream, ambition. Good for fucking him. That's awesome. But, like, that's...
You're saying if he's doing that, we want him to do that so we can
Is he
feel
also doing a business degree on the side?
Yeah, well, he best be.
Needs a
It's
backup
2020.
plan. Needs a backup plan.
Absolutely.
This is my backup plan.
Best be across all social justice issues, speak about it perfectly,
Exactly.
no errors.
That's my point.
And be very giving to the media as well, who will definitely be fair on people who make one misstep.
Victoria and New South Wales players have not played a game yet. But there's some stuff going on there. Like I noticed New South Wales trained...
Agar 100 as well. Well done, Ashton. Good stuff. He played against his brother. Can I just say? Sorry. Just quickly. Against his brother. They lived together for a week in the lead up to this game because they're all quarantined, etc. Brother Wes playing for South Australia. They played backyard cricket. And that's what he said. And Ashton, speaking about his innings afterwards, I just noted he said, I'm going to put the emphasis on this. He said, it was epic. Ashton said he scored 26 from the 41 balls he faced off Wes. Wes tried to bump him the whole time. Ashton says, I've got a lot of respect for him, elder brother here, to run in and bowl 30-odd overs on a flat pitch and go at not too many runs and bowl fast spells is a great effort. Oh, well done. That's mastery level.
He got a real bad knock on the head. I think Nick Winter might have bumped him. He was blown around the wicket to Agar and he got a real bad one.
Yeah.
The one where, like, the ball comes forward from his head. It was nasty. But I think he's okay. He's okay. Josh Inglis as well, wicketkeeper, 153.
Yeah. Nice.
Eyebrow stuff, Pez. Some eyebrow stuff there.
Well, keepers.
All right. Victoria, New South Wales. Fucking hell. We haven't even got to the fucking IPL yet, mate. All right. Shield stuff, eh?
Yeah, these are the priorities. What are we going to do with the IPL? Presume we've both been watching it enormously.
Yeah.
Well, Victoria, New South Wales, it's just a shit show for Victoria at the moment, really. They have to train in fours, wearing gloves, face shields. That's my emphasis.
Yeah.
Gloves and face shields. They've said, can we start a little bit later, which is probably fair enough. New South Wales had to get there earlier. They were going to be able to wait another week, but shit was going down in New South Wales. So, like, guys, get out of here. Let's get into South Australia now. All looking pretty good.
Yep, all looking good and normal for the summer ahead.
That's the analysis.
Okay, Pez, IPL. Now, the highlight of the matches so far this week is that Maxwell needed to hit a 6 off the last ball, take it to a super over, and he almost hit a 6. It was a great moment in the entire history of the IPL. And that was interesting. I was interested by Sehwag's comment.
Yeah, Sehwag
smashed him. He said, so Sehwag used to be, he was a former Kings 11 coach. Obviously, Maxwell playing for the Kings 11 Punjab. Sehwag said, can't quite understand Maxwell's mindset because it's the same story every year. He gets sold in the auction for a hefty price, but the results remain the same. Yet people, franchises, run after him. This is something I don't understand, Sehwag told CricBuzz. In the next auction, I think his price will drop. It has to be kept in mind he scored his last half-century in 2016. It's an interesting point from Sehwag because, I mean, this is like kind of what we were talking about before a few weeks ago. It's just like, it's all there with Maxwell, but it's like, how often does it actually happen? You know? Like, I mean, I've led the IPL chat with, like, he almost hit a 6 to get it to a super over, and it's like he got 10 off 5.
Awesome. That sort of held him back, didn't they? They brought in a young fella.
Like some Indian politics stuff there. Get the young fella ahead of Maxwell. I don't know.
I don't know. What do you sort of identify with Sehwag's comments?
A little bit. A little bit.
Well, I think the answer to the question, why do you buy him? You buy him because you buy the package. You buy like a Maxwell's a package now. He's a brand.
Interesting.
And when the flourish comes off, there's no better flourish.
Yeah.
I mean, we know this. We're saying this.
Reverse slog sweeps get you a lot of money.
All of that, but even the fast twitch of it, the hairy forearms, the entire package just looks good. The way the bat swings, the things he says afterwards. He scores 100 to win it for Australia. He goes, I trusted my bat swing. Just says things that people like. He just says things that annoy people, and that's good.
You've listed that like a shopping list of franchising the IPL. Like, what are we looking for? Hairy forearms, tick.
Yeah, exactly.
Bat swings, tick.
Yeah, definitely. Like bats without a hat where necessary.
No lid,
he's provocative.
Yeah, he is provocative.
He's box office provocation. For people. He triggers people.
Yeah,
and that's good. There's clicks in that.
Don't even know what that means. It's
but every so he's going to do something really good, and I just don't want to write him off. I just want to be there for it.
I think it's the hope that kills you with Maxwell. It's it's all there and it could happen, but does it? You know what I mean?
Well, does it to the extent that you pay that amount of money for him?
Yeah, but then also I'm thinking like Cummins got sold for 3.1 million. Now who's spending that much money on a fast bowler when they're going to play in India or the UAE like they are now? It's just like, is that where the value is? But like Cummins again, it's a package. It's a package.
High fade.
High fade.
Does a cryptic crossword.
Eyes. Cryptic crossword. Eyes. Got some eyes stuff going on.
So he says.
So he says. Yeah. I solved the cryptic crossword. Did you?
Ever tried to do a cryptic crossword?
Hard.
Fucking hard.
Yeah.
You see the way it gets done. You look at like the solver of the cryptic crossword. You're like, oh, how the fuck was I meant to make that leap?
Yeah.
Nowhere. Anyway, he does the whole thing apparently.
Now, if I think of an image of someone who's solving a cryptic crossword, it's not a guy who's a rooster.
This is what Cummins is. It's too much 10 out of 10 for Cummins for me.
There's something going on.
There's something going on. We're going to find those skeletons. Now, I'll see another point you've got here. He goes.
Yep.
Yeah. Kohli hit 90 not out of 50 for Royal Challengers Bangalore against Chennai.
Yeah.
So just in lieu of your comments last week, he's a mid-ranking player.
Yeah, and we did some stats. We did some searching last week. And
Wee's interesting word.
So what happened was last week at the end, Pez's eyebrows were raised and he said, it's an interesting comment you just made. Let's have a look into it. He's got the highest, most runs in the IPL. Now, I think it's too early in the competition for that to mean anything.
Okay. So
because he's probably played every year. He's probably played every the IPL.
You played Sydney grade cricket.
He averages
down.
Yeah, I am doubling down because I think like his record isn't that good compared to his career. He averages like 37, doesn't he?
That was the qualifier I asked you about. He goes, I said, do you mean in relation to the rest of his stuff? And you said no explicitly. You said no. It's just a mid-ranking career in the IPL.
So 30. I think averaging 35, 37, 36, 35, whatever it was. Is that amazing?
His average is like top 15 out of everyone who ever played.
Top 15. Top 15.
So 99 out of 50 this week.
That's good. He's a package. Now, he's the ultimate package in the IPL. That's box office.
I reckon he's a good player. I reckon he's a good T20 player. I know it might be controversial. I don't want to. I'm going down a limb.
Well, mate, live by the sword, die by the sword. Hey, Ben Stokes is back from New Zealand. He had to do 6 days of quarantine. He played last night in the game. Smith's captain of the Rajasthan Royals, as you know, Pez, and Dave Warner is the Sunrisers Hyderabad captain. They played last night. Before the, I just find it funny, like that Smith and Warner, they can captain IPL teams. Like no one's else got a problem with that. But in Australia, it's still a bit of a thing like. Can't captain there. No way. You know what I mean? It's still a bit, I don't know. And before the tournament started, like Jofra Archer, don't know if you've seen this on the internet, he did a tweet saying to Xbox, like, how many wickets do I need to get a free Xbox? Xbox have just released a new platform. And Xbox replied, just one, Dave Warner. And he got him out last night.
Bowled him. Yeah.
Free Xbox. Look,
we're doing well to work our way through the IPL, I think. I mean, I'm sure everyone feels up to date with the competition now.
Yeah.
Here's the observation with the IPL I want to make. Here's my complaint.
Here we go.
It's hard to detect the game within the game. You know, with the IPL, like there's not enough gossip, there's not enough Women's Day new idea stuff. You know, to keep us going. It's very pure cricket stuff. It's very they brought in Maxwell too late. You know what I mean? Like. Let's get a bit more gossip going into it, you know, like, too many good players, too little time for rivalries, too many guys switching teams. So you can't build narrative. There's no Warren, Marlon Samuel stuff. You know, there's no Chris Gale stuff. I'm not saying you need the Chris Gale controversy down here with the BBL to make it work, but it needs narrative arcs, you know, not just score lines. It needs intrigue. Someone's got to develop intrigue and export it there. It needs more neighbours. What's the best we've got for the IPL? The Ponting Ashwin stuff is probably the best we've got in terms of intrigue, narrative arc stuff we can follow. And we will talk to Gilchrist about that. He's got views about that. That will turn up on Crick Info. Okay? Once again.
Yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt, some say. there's a bit of intrigue in that. So like with Warner, someone wrote into us this week, couldn't find it, but someone wrote in wondering whether, Warner, who's captaining Sunrisers Hyderabad, is smiling too much. That's what, no,
someone wrote that
we can work with it. Someone wrote in just saying, listen, he doesn't seem to smile wherever else he goes, but is there something about Warner just smiling at the IPL just to let the rest of the guys know, look, this is a bit of fun for me?
Fuck, it's alpha.
Well, now at least we've got something to hook on and we can talk about here.
But that to me just screams I'm doing the Indian play. I've got an Indian play, yeah. Like all the Australian players, all the UK players, they've all got an Indian play. We see it all the time. The grade cricketer hasn't really got an Indian play.
Well, we've tried.
Have we?
We just got one guy saying bullying boy Ponting.
On YouTube.
Bullying boy pointing. Can't talk about spirit of cricket. That's a start.
Yeah, it's something.
Bullying boy pointing.
Yeah, okay. So we need more controversy. That's true. That's true.
And a little bit more intrigue. If you send in a bit more intrigue for us, if you are across the IPL, you give us some narrative arc stuff. Give us some, can you overlay
rumour mongering?
Can you overlay grade cricket themes onto the IPL, or is it too elite? Are the players too good? Are the skill levels just through the roof? Are we talking about Space Jam stuff and it's the furthest thing from grade cricket possible, or is there still some grade cricket stuff going on in the IPL? Let us know.
Yeah, wife swapping. Let us know.
Did happen once. Someone told me that. Ruin the club. They had to get the chaplain in.
I thought you were talking about the IPL for a second.
No.
Someone told me.
No, that was just Sydney club cricket.
What are we talking about, Hyderabad?
Someone told me they're a sports chaplain. Anyway, I'm going to write about it in a book one day.
All right, we'll be talking that off the air. BBL, Pez, just before we head to the interview,
glad these segments are getting shorter.
Hell of a show. Pez, just a real quick one before we go to the break, and the break being the interview with Adam Gilchrist, a Hall of Famer.
You guys will have a break for that. Come back for our stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Now, there's going to be expect to be a huge influx of overseas players from the UK this year. Pairs. Alex Hale signed this week. He's going to go back to the Thunder. Obviously, Tom Banton and Tom Curran had multiple year deals. That's on the top of Jason Roy and Liam Livingston, or also likely in Bairstow is mooted for the Stars. Now, I don't care about any of those except for Bairstow.
Yeah, I've just got because you've beautifully laid this out in the agenda. I've just got one bullet point. Only one name matters there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, look,
Liam Livingston got hit in the dick last year. That was funny. A couple of times.
Yeah, his reaction was funny. It's always funny when guys get hit in the dick, isn't it? Just because, it's your penis. That's a sexual organ.
Yeah.
So he got hit in the dick. He's genuinely hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope it doesn't, so, look, people have been mooting that Bairstow's going to the Stars.
Yeah.
I can add to that mooting as well through, some background sourcing. Yeah, I know, because there's no quote. You read like a player transfer story, so there's no quotes. It means nothing. But the backgrounding happens. They're trying. The Stars are trying to get him.
Yeah.
And the Stars representatives from the Stars said, listen, if we get him, we can put it to JB to get on TGC. Problem is, there was 15 cases in Melbourne today, so fuck all's happening in Melbourne.
Yeah.
We want him in this studio.
Yeah.
Someone else wrote in the other day and said, stop worrying about Bairstow, get Archer on. Like, oh, fuck, sorry, mate.
Fucking hell.
Okay.
Did someone say that?
Yeah. But that's standard. That's the same people who give us 1 star and say, good podcast, except this one thing. That's all right. I don't read the reviews.
Good point. All right. Well, Adam Gilchrist on the show. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good player.
He's pretty good.
Good little clubman. Good stick. Good little stick.
Keep it too.
After that, hashtag RTUC.
Here goes, look, just because I'm going to do some numbers here. Is that okay?
Please, yeah. I encourage him.
Not sure this bloke's heard these numbers before. 96 tests, 5,500 runs, average 47.6, 17 tons, 26 50s, highest score 204 not out, 416 dismissals, second highest ever. 287 ODIs, 9,619 runs, highest score 172, striking at around 100, 16 tons, 55 50s, 472 dismissals, second highest ever. 173 tests from 96 matches. That's the best win percentage ever, 35%, better than any other player in history from anywhere in the world, and once described his batting philosophy as, I just hit the ball. He's going around again on the Grade Cricketer cast. It's our picture of safety. He goes, Adam Gilchrist. Gilly, welcome back to the Grade Cricketer.
Great to be back. Thanks for the intro. I like it. I didn't know the stat about the wins. It wasn't a bad group of players to be hanging out with, was it?
What, everyone?
Always good. And I tell you what, as soon as Warren and McGrath retired, I was getting out of there. My name's Gilly, not Silly. So they were the reason for those wins, I reckon. So time to exit stage left. It was. My best judgment of my whole career.
Some bloke wrote that on the Raw. I didn't even double check it, but anyway. Okay, so look, Gilly, we went through your early career and grade cricket forays on episode 45, as both you and the listeners will know. Just to sum up that, you're a New South Wales boy from Bellingen, prodigy, played at ND, strong Gordon representation meant Phil Emery somehow kept you out. You went to WA, you rudely unseated Ian Healy, who asked for one more game at the Gabba because he just wanted one. So we've done that. So let's meander through some of cricket and life's more important questions here in this interview, especially as it relates to India. Who's right about mankads and whose side are you on, Ravi Ashwin or Ricky Ponting?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, that one, isn't it? And I see, Punter's had the first win, hasn't he, so far in that little debate?
He's laughing.
As we go to where? As we go to where?
Yeah.
He's
setting us up, Ravi.
Yeah, that's right, and I like the way he announced to the world, just the world, you're on notice. I'm not going to be that kind again. So Punter won the debate. He got Ravi just to cool his jets for that first opportunity against our good man Aaron Finch. But I reckon it'll come out again. And look, you know what? I'm starting to turn in. I was always horribly against it, but I'm starting to think, maybe it's got to come in, because that was clearly lazy from Pinchy, just strolling out like that. I don't think he's trying to cheat, but he's probably just been a bit carefree there. So my mind is starting to turn in favour of the bowler on this one a little bit.
So what does Ponting do now? I mean, obviously he's 1-0 up on Ashwin in the intangible social
series.
in the alpha battle there. But now Ashwin's putting on notice on Twitter. I mean, you have been a successful cricketer socially, on field, off field. Yep. What does Ponting do now, politically speaking?
He's snookered a little bit. He's got to back his bowler in now, and they're up the top of the table. So, and I've been in that situation in the IPL where you start looking across at the table, you suffer a couple of losses. The first thing any owner in an IPL tells you is, you run the team, we'll run the business. We'll never get involved in team selection until you lose. And then they come and start knocking on the door and picking the team. So Parrell started twitching a bit, and there might be a moment, won't there, when a big game's on the line and Ravi just plucks it out and just whips a couple of points into the bag with the mankad. Yeah, Punter's he's snooking now. He's got to back his player. So I think although he won the first round on points, I think Ravi might be able to deliver the knockout blow at some stage in this IPL.
Gilly, obviously, as Australians, we're right across every ball that happens in the IPL. And I'm just reading here that Dave Warner's just become the 9th player to captain 50 IPL games. But you did that as you're part of that list as well, and you actually won 35 of those games, whereas Dave's only won 26. I don't realize you played so much in the IPL and you captained. I mean, that's quite an experience. Is that a proud part of your record?
It is actually. It is I reckon that was one of the most challenging things in cricket that I had to experience, was trying to captain an IPL team with 5 or 6 different nationalities, and even within the Indian ranks, there's guys ranging from international superstars down to 19-year-olds plucked from some village out of nowhere and been given a chance, and even their language challenges between the Indian guys was interesting. So bringing that all together, and as I mentioned, the owners of teams, these franchises, they get pretty heavily involved and pretty emotionally involved too. So you're trying to balance all that side of it up too. So yeah, it was a great challenge, very fulfilling feeling. I think we won the title in the second year, and I reckon that's as fulfilling an experience as a lot of the success I've been able to have even with the Aussie boys. So it's just different types of challenges, trying to coordinate it all.
How many games have you lost in your entire cricket career? Because you go to India and you win a couple of games over there as well. You're captaining. You
ever lose much?
Yeah, you ever lose much? Do you remember the losses? You must do.
Mate, the two best Test cricket series that I played in, I certainly and think they might be rated as 2 of the better series in history. Were the only 2 that we lost. Yeah. It was against England 05 and India 01. Pretty decent cricket being played, and I didn't do a great deal in either of the series. So, there was losses there. There's a few losses I remember for Gordon, Poitov and Gray. I don't think we ever got all the way to the big dance with the Stags, and so to Northern Districts. we did have a good title win there in first grade. But the PGs was probably my area, and Green Shield. I didn't necessarily always come away with the winners' medal at the end of that season.
Yeah, well, that'll mean a lot to so many that it still hurts, even though you've won the IPL, you've won Test matches, Test series, World Cups.
Yeah,
I like when he says win. He just means winning the title as well. We were just talking about matches. I didn't win those comps.
Exactly.
It's all about trophies and winners rings. As they say,
exactly.
I want a ring.
Exactly. Yeah, that's quite a trophy.
Which, funnily enough, I managed to, on a side note, it's self-indulgent. We won 3 World Cups. I was fortunate to be a part of 3 World Cup winning teams, and a lot of people don't know we were afforded the good old US-fashioned championship ring from British Australia, like a beautiful gold ring, a bit of something like Liberace would have worn, tickling the ivories there, but pretty blingy sort of stuff. But I did a bit of as we all did in COVID and the initial lockdowns, I did a bit of a clean out of the cellar and all the cricket gear, and I can only find 2 of the 3. my 2003 World Cup winners ring has disappeared somewhere. So if anyone out there has found it, let us know.
I'm surprised you weren't wearing all 3.
Like when I go to the shops now, I only feel like half dressed sort of with 2 of the 3. But anyway, we'll keep searching around for it. But if anyone finds a stray World Cup ring, send it in.
Anything we can do to help, please write in. Now, Gilly, you said before, you've actually segued me in nicely because I was doing some reading of The Guardian, the Jonathan Liu's article on Sunday. Now, bear with me, Gilly, because this one goes for a little while, but it is to a point. Jonathan Liu writes on Sunday in his Guardian article, darkness washed over the oval like a cruel sea. The champagne corks on the outfield would not be seen again until morning. The confetti danced alone. Moths flapped at the pavilion window, the only square of light left in the ground. Inside the Australian dressing room, however, illumination offered no solace. For much of the evening, they had laughed and drunk away the pain. The English came in to visit, but had not stayed long, eager to clamber into their waiting taxis and begin the festivities in earnest. And so the Australians commiserated alone, flipping open the bottles of Victoria Bitter that had been purchased for victory, but would do just as well in defeat. This is obviously this is the Oval dressing room after the 2005 Ashes, obviously. A taut and awful silence gripped the room. Simon Kadich stared at the backs of his hands. Sean Tate blew a one-note tune across the neck of his bottle. The silence was momentarily broken by a cricket ball rolling off the bench and hitting the floor with a thud. Well, fellas, Adam Gilchrist began suddenly. At least we can tell our grandkids we played in the greatest Test series of all time. Ricky Ponting harumphed. How can it be the greatest of all time, he retorted. We lost. The click of a cigarette lighter interjected before Gilchrist could respond. From behind a tall stack of pizza boxes, the slumped and cetacean figure of Warne slowly winched itself upright. Warne inhaled slowly and exhaled with violence, an angry cloud of smoke pouring from his mouth. Yeah, we lost, he spat, but we're still Australia. They won. But they'll wake up tomorrow and they'll still be England. Ian Bell will still be Ian Bell. Ashley Giles will still be Ashley Giles. The bloke who came in and made 7, he'll still be the ginger bloke. Who's going to remember these guys in 20 years' time? Warne paused for effect. Nobody, that's who, he said. He had developed a habit of answering his own rhetorical questions, a trait that grated on the colleagues to an unfathomable degree, and which they could occasionally remark upon when he was out of earshot. But before they could dwell on their irritation, Warne continued. Yeah, they're having a bit of a party tonight, he said. But if Warnie throws a party, it's going to be the greatest party the world's ever seen. What's Warne like on the circuit?
Well, what an insight.
I mean, does that happen? Did that happen? Is that true? Cast him on that 15 years to deliberate to that.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think they did wake up the next day and they were still England, and I think Paul Collingwood still had a bit of ginger in his hair. But what Warnie called Ian Bell, the Shermanator, I think he referred to him as. But I think we gave it a fair effort at making sure that we tried to wash away our sorrows. That's about the only way you can do it. I mean, really, after 5 days of Test cricket, you've got to blow out, win, lose or draw, and try to wash away whatever the memories were. But no, Warnie on the circuit, went all right, I think.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about his mural specifically in his house. You know, he's got Jack Nicklaus and all that. I just desperately want to see that. That's all.
There's a lot of things in Warnie's house that I think a lot of great cricketers would like to see and would enjoy being hosted. Not your average grade cricketer that has a disco ball and a pole dancing studio down in the bottom of the basement. But maybe I played for the wrong club.
I played with a few guys like that, actually. Yeah.
It's the country drawl that gets me with it. Okay, Gilly, we were talking to Marnus earlier this week. You know, he's so big now, he's calling by his first name.
Yeah, our friend.
We don't know which interview will come up first here with either of you two, but we talked about his trope of like sort of being the big cricket nuffy. You know, in the side, he outwardly loves the game. He plays for free, watches a lot of cricket, etc. You know, as you know, KO.
Did you say he does play for free?
He said he would play for free. You know,
wouldn't want to be throwing those suggestions around. I mean, God, look out, Marnus. I might have to ask him about that one time over the summer. But anyway.
As you well know, Gilly, KO's now showing the Shield. You know, we're not sponsored by them, by the way. We just like to talk about them all the time. I note that since this news came out, you know, many have been saying, you know, the Shield's on KO. Well, that's my weekend sorted. So as an all-time great, like, where do you sit on the cricket watching spectrum? You know, between, you know, someone who studiously and attentively devours every ball of the Sheffield Shield to the exclusion of all other things, all the way through to the idea that it's insane to think about watching domestic cricket in October because you're not a one-dimensional character and you have a life.
It's got to be some middle ground there somewhere, doesn't there? But, I mean, geez, it's you know, restaurants all around the Australia, or possibly around the world, I would imagine. I'm not sure if KO stretches internationally, but certainly around Australia, there's going to be some pretty awkward scenes in restaurants, isn't there? The romantic dinner with the bloke looking down at the phone between his legs, just checking to see whether Tommy Cooper picked up another 50 or not.
Cameron Gannon steaming in here.
Yeah, Cam Gannon's over with the West Australians now, isn't he? He's all fired up and ready to go. So it's going to be interesting viewing. Park 25 will come up a treat on the screen.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful ground there. That's been nightmares to me. That's where we did a lot of training in the Cricket Academy down there back in the day, back in the early 90s. And I tell you, she wasn't in any condition to host first-class cricket back then, but I think it's improved somewhat now.
I mean, what are we supposed to be watching here, Gilly, with the Shield? Because Justin Lang has obviously said that, well, the team's basically picked, and that would ring true as well. So it's kind of like it's an extra thing of like, what are we looking for? And I suppose that also might play into the wicketkeeper question as well, right? Where Tim Payne realistically is going to captain till at least the end of the Ashes, you would think, unless he has a disastrous summer and maybe Alex Carey sort of takes over. But I mean, is there anything to sort of look for in this Shield series rather?
Yeah, we want bat-offs and bowl-offs. Yeah,
winning.
Just
It's
winning.
all about winning. We've been through this. You want a ring. That's all I want. I don't remember getting a Sheffield Shield ring. I think that's got to be some sort of focused in it, trying to win the Sheffield Shield, not just try and have practice games to get picked for Australia. I thought that's what the Sheffield Shield was, about trying to bind together as a team and win the tournament, win the series. But anyway.
Do you follow it that way, Gilly? Are you sort of like, Queensland got to win this week? You know, they're on sort of 4.738 points now, and there it is. And
well, I must admit, when I do look at the points table, I start to go, I'll wait to find out who's in the final and then follow from there. It is, I mean, trying to do the maths on it is ridiculous, isn't it? But, most of the blokes struggled to do the maths on it when it was 6 points for a win, 2 points for first innings, and so we still couldn't get the scenario right.
Gilly, let's talk about the Aussie team a little bit. Like, just one on the culture and the evolution of the team, the players populating the team. Like back in the era where you played, which we now know is the era of great safety. We felt very safe watching you guys as children. Blokes were big, they were thick, hairy forearms. They liked beer, except the king, obviously. They spoke out the sides of their mouth, still do. They choked blokes if they needed to. And now our blokes sort of, they earnestly show love for backyard cricket. They play country songs on guitar in their downtime, post them into social. And they regularly top up with Botox, to maintain skin purity. A number of players do this. It's been confirmed. Do these developments sort of concern or excite you, and can only be one or the other?
Yep.
Oh, it's gravely concerning, really. Some of the evidence on TikTok, allegedly, so it's been suggested to me, not being active member of the TikTok fraternity, but it's sort of, it can spread. It seems that, it might be what they say. It's not just TikTok. It suddenly infiltrates other areas of your life, and you can't help but be exposed to some of the activities of some of the players on there. And not just the players, but their wives and children and grandparents, and even some animals will become involved there somewhere. But that's not an area we want to delve into, really. But it's of great concern. I think we're really losing the focus on the good old-fashioned celebration, the old-fashioned celebration that possibly could last a week. So that's without having to turn your phone on. So that'd be where I think they've got to aspire to get back to. So that's the next cultural challenge for Justin.
You mentioned
he's not one. He's not one of the Botox type, is he?
Not to our knowledge.
Not to our knowledge.
No.
Not to our knowledge.
I think he rolled his eyes at the idea, actually. Yeah.
Although his face didn't move when he rolled his eyes, which is strange.
That's a good point.
Interesting.
Look at his
very
skin.
tight forehead.
Nice skin.
Nice skin. Yeah. Western Australian sun over there.
Sun
hairy forearm.
Yeah, good point. Gilly, just on social media strategies, etc. When you go to Google and you just type in, Adam Gilchrist funny, which is basically our research method for all interviews. Yeah. One of the top responses is a little bit of a back and forth with you and Harbhajan a couple of years ago. Most people are sort of familiar with it. There's a replay of his hat trick. You're part of that hat trick. You just have a little, there's not a pop. You just say no DRS and a little crying emoji. Yeah. And he lost it and said you're always crying and stuff like that. Don't know if he was referring to your emoji. A lot of people backed you up, and I look at your social now, Gilly, with respect, and it's just sprinkled with well-meaning business interests and social causes, etc. I mean, did that conflict kind of force a change in strategy around your social media, or are we going to see some of the kind of some of the Larrick and Gilchrist come back, which is what the fans want, whether that's TikTok or otherwise?
I hadn't stopped to reflect whether I'd been turbinated and absolutely just sort of blown out of the water, but. No, I didn't sit down and make an executive decision based on that little lovers tiff that we had there. I think we're all okay. Harbhajan and I, after that one, I think clearly at the end of the day, he's always got the ultimate response to no matter what I serve up on social media. He just has to say, "Look in the scorebook, champ." So the middle member of the first ever Indian hat trick. So I've not really got much reply to that, but I'll have a think about it. I'll revisit on I'll take that on notice, or I'll go and revisit my social media and see if I can crank something up. Given the vast array of platforms that I'm operating on.
I hadn't seen this exchange, but I'm fairly certain off the top of my head that delivery that got you out pitched on the second square outside leg. Anyway.
And I hit it. Just check the replay and see whether I smashed it into my pad as well. Other than that, it was pretty close.
I wasn't aware where Harbhajan said you're always crying. I wasn't aware you carried that reputation of always. I mean, is that something you've heard before?
Toxic masculinity.
Gilchrist always. I mean, I could point to that side you played. I'm like, there's about at least 10 players who always cry a bit more than Gilchrist.
I think I might have been laughing walking off that after that decision, just thinking how ridiculous that was. But anyway, he got the hat trick. They won.
Gilly,
they got the win.
We've just seen the Australian women's team rack up 21 consecutive victories, and in one of your very rare moments in your career, where a team that you played in kept winning. In 2003, you also had 21 victories. It was around the 2003 World Cup time, I think you guys had 21 victories in a row. I mean, I just wonder, like, at that stage in your career, I mean, it must be hard because, as we said before, you won so often, but at that stage in your career, you must have thought, like, we're going to have to play so badly to lose.
I don't recall those thoughts. But,
don't cry on us.
Yeah, good group of players, wasn't it? Pretty well led. We got a nice little bit of momentum up there. World Cups, 10 in a row in a World Cup sort of got you the title. So if you had a good lead into a World Cup and then carry the momentum after it, you get to 2021 pretty easily. I would have thought. I'm a bit surprised a few other countries haven't been up. As I said right at the start, I was very fortunate to hang out with a pretty decent bunch of cricketers, so timing was good for me.
Adam Gilchrist, that was a volley of questions with no real sequence to it in any way from Ian and I, but you've dealt with them all very, very well. Thanks so much for your time. Second time round. We hope to catch you during the summer.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing a bit of international cricket, a bit of Big Bash, but most importantly, just hearing the stories and the tales and seeing who are in the finals of the various grade competitions around Australia throughout the season. Look forward to it. Be looking in the details section of the newspaper each week, wherever I am. Which will probably be Perth because no one's going anywhere at the minute. But I'll keep an eye out for all the leading run scorers and wicket takers across the grade comps. Keep the dream alive, boys. You're doing a great job.
Summer's around the corner. He goes, and as our listeners, our dear listeners will know, our great friends at Budgie Smuggler continue to support us, and we in turn would like to continue to support them.
We would like to.
We'd like to, and we will.
Yes.
Starting from now.
Yes.
They are doing custom designed bucket hats. Okay? They're back in.
Bucket hats are back, yeah. It's like fashion comes full circle,
Back
as we
in.
know.
Back in. Just like the Wallabies are back in. Separate cast.
Well, for this week.
That's right. Until, yeah.
They lose
next game.
83-0, yeah. Yeah, when it's not wet.
Yep. Yeah. I'll watch, though. Now, custom bucket hats. He goes, they're back in.
Yes.
We've been talking regularly about the sorts of designs one might make on their bucket hat that they can get from Budgie Smuggler. Now, I'd noticed a piece this week. You'll be aware in these COVID times that every kind of country or kind of area has a champion that everyone turns to hear their view on the virus. In the US, it's Dr. Fauci. Yep. Everyone's listening to Dr. Fauci. Here in Victoria, Melbourne, credibility starting to decline a little bit. Dr. Sutton or Brett Sutton.
I like Nick Coatsworth.
Okay, everyone's got their own.
Great
this is the point. They're making sheets of Brett Sutton. You can actually get his bed sheets. Good. He's a bit of a rooster.
Sutton?
Yeah.
Sutton's daddy.
Exactly.
Sutton's daddy.
And in the UK, you know who they've just rolled out for public service messaging?
Who's that?
Dr. Carl.
Actually.
Carl Kennedy.
Kennedy, yeah. I understand.
From Neighbours.
Yeah. There's only one Dr. Carl I know.
Exactly.
Dr. Carl Malone.
Mailman. So, Dr. Carl's been rolled out in the UK, and I'm just thinking, who are some other incongruous cult figures, in cricketing terms, that you might want to put on a bucket hat? Let me give you a list.
Okay,
couple of ideas. Incongruous cult figures that aren't us. Mark Cosgrove.
Interesting. I had Mark Higgs first one to my mind.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought Mark Higgs was going to go all the way.
So did I.
He had a great innings with Steve Waugh in the Mercantile Mutual Cup in the mid-90s.
That's right.
To win a game. Oh, it was at the SCG. He batted with Steve Waugh, and he batted so well. I remember my dad's like, he's talent.
Cosgrove had
same time as Anthony Stewart.
Yeah, which we know about. That might be a Patriot thing.
Yeah.
Cosgrove had a great county career as well. He played overseas for ages. There's like the most recent bit of footage I saw of Cosgrove, like someone bumped him and then he like headbutted it.
He headbutted it. But that I saw that headbutt. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
That actually shows so much class from him. Firstly, I'm not scared of the ball. Secondly, like when any missile is coming at your head, you naturally kind of blink and want to get out of the way.
Yeah.
This is a quick bowler. He almost like he just rode it. Like it was like he was guiding it into the top corner.
Exactly, yeah.
Like a
flick on.
From the near post.
He was sort of target man.
It was a near post flick on.
Yeah.
That's just that level of like engagement with the balls. Like I mean, how good at cricket would you be if you're like it's a tennis ball?
Exactly. But we talked about this when we're talking to Wagner last week in terms of like just when Wade was like just letting it hit him. Like why are you doing that?
Fear of the ball is basically 9/10 of the game. Anyway, Cosgrove, look, standard ones, Boone, Simons, Ian Harvey, Merv, Mickey Edwards, became a cult figure, I suppose. And
100%.
then we talk about white whales on the show all the time.
Yeah,
and this isn't even a white whale. This is almost, he lives in a different ocean
Bradman.
that we can't. No, Bradman's dead.
Okay.
But Bradman's dead, Ian. He died, Ian, in 2001.
He did.
Accepted.
He did.
No, Kerry O'Keefe.
Oh, yeah.
A cult figure.
That's true.
We're getting on very well with Kerry O'Keefe.
That's true.
Supplied a quote for our book, has been very supportive, has mentioned us on air.
Yeah.
We hope one day we could share the stage with him, the metaphorical stage, digital stage, whatever it is.
Live shows.
When it suits Kerry.
And when it's COVID safe.
Of course it's COVID safe. And when it's financially safe. For us, that is.
Yeah.
He's banging the door down.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a couple of cult figures you can put on your bucket hat. designed by a budgie smuggler. Easy, intuitive, Australian-made
Now,
in
Pez,
these times.
You've said a number of great Australian icons there.
Yeah.
Now, where does Harangara Harath fit in? Now, he's got
Rangada?
400 test wickets.
Great bowler.
But he seems a bit culty to me.
Well, it actually, well, is it insulting to call somebody with such a successful career
Exactly.
a cult figure? Have I just done that with David Byrne, Murphy?
Well, I feel like Boone and Hughes are kind of like outside the cultiness of it.
Yeah.
Because they're too big to be cult.
Yeah, you actually cross the threshold.
They're mainstream.
Dean Jones?
Mainstream.
Yeah, it's interesting. He was described as a cult figure. I saw in a few places, RIP, in recent kind of obituaries. I did a piece for Crick Info many years ago, and it was on cult figures, and I suggested to my editors who are in Asia that Inzamam ul Haq was a cult figure.
Okay.
And I was quickly rebuked, and rightly so, saying the guy scored 8,000 test runs at 48.
Cult figure in terms of his comedic runouts.
He's a cult figure in Australia, which says more about Australian disrespect to a bloke who averaged 48 with 8K test runs.
Yeah.
And we're just like, Inzy.
We are like that.
Inzy, he's alive, isn't he? We're going to rope Belinda. You're just typing Inzy. Oh, yeah, bloke got run out all the time. No, he averaged 50.
Yeah, he's a bit fat, isn't he? Yeah, that's true.
So Inzy, fuck. Have another Mars bar, mate. I know that was Ranatunga, but still. It's all the same in the mid-90s. Wrongly, but it is. Wrongly. Budgiesmuggler.com. One of the better ads.
I need a moment to compose myself after that. Paul Noble writes in, Pairs, #RTGC. Here we go. Let's just do three of the best here, okay?
Okay. Oh, well,
That's all right.
can't watch me.
No, we're down to two
YouTube.
cameras.
We're down 2 cameras.
Paul Noble writes in, Flintoff, Trump, and tape ball.
Let's just for those who are listening or watching this on YouTube, the 2 cameras that may involve yours truly have now died. So if you are watching on YouTube,
just one. Just one's died.
Oh, okay. This one's still going.
Yeah.
So I just thought, interesting. The camera set up. Now we're just watching. Here you go.
And
you know what? That's most of the feedback.
Paul Noble writes in,
the
Pez.
rig, he goes.
Fuck off. Flintoff, Trump, and
it's a good
tape
rig.
ball. Dear Bishop Pesman Tutu and the notorious HIG.
Nice.
4 years ago, I moved from England to my wife's hometown in rural Midwest USA. As a self-confessed cricket tragic, I thought I'd finally left Saturdays filled of rig shaming, shower anxiety, and just generally spending my time with blokes I despise behind me. Instead, spending them helping my Trump-voting, gun-loving father-in-law on his land. My father-in-law almost certainly thinks of me as a liberal European cuck, but still an upgrade from the blokes at my hometown cricket club. This all changed about a month or so ago, when I discovered that a group of international students at the local university had started the Tape Ball Cricket League at the local Little League baseball field. I averaged 30-odd with the bat, 20.51, and 20-odd with the ball, 36.59, last time I had played real cricket. Plus, Saturday mornings attempting to avoid all political conversations have become somewhat draining given the current political climate of the US. So, last Saturday I turned up wearing my university training shorts, of course, registered myself to play, and hated it just as much as I knew I would. I was bounced out of 16 yards for 3 by an engineering student in jeans and flip-flops who barely spoke English and would only refer to me as Flintoff. I wish I could tell you that was meant as a compliment on my all-round cricketing ability. It's not. I'm wank. But rather, it was a comment on my rather poorly constructed post-lockdown rig. As it turns out, rig shaming is a universal language. Who knew? After being asked to open the bowling, I was banished to the long grass of the baseball outfield after 2 overs. Turns out, swing bowling doesn't work with a tennis ball covered in tape on a gravel baseball diamond. Again, who knew? What is it about a Saturday that means I must occupy my time with something I absolutely despise? Am I Saturday afternoon sadist? Is the nickname Flintoff problematic given his recent admission to dealing with bulimia? If I watch KP Masterclass playing the short ball on Cricket Australia's YouTube, will it help? Why do I hate these people already simply because they're smarter than me? Is this a sign of deeper-seated issues? What's champ in Hindi? Will I ever earn the respect of my father-in-law? Unlikely, but maybe. A bit to unpack here, lads. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Can't unpack all of that. There is a lot to unpack there.
Going on there,
yeah, that's therapy stuff, I think, for you.
Yeah, head straight there, actually. driving.
Well, let's be clear on the rig
driving
champ in
out.
front. Here goes my former comments. You have a wonderful rig. Simple as that.
Thanks, mate.
People like looking at you.
Not in lockdown.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
You got a post lockdown rig.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Relative to your standards.
I haven't been to a gym in a long time.
Are you sort of Kohli T20 relative to the rest of his career?
Yeah.
Maybe. There you go. There you go.
Not even that. Not even that. I'm young Ranatunga.
I like the setting here. Like I like the convergence of cricket culture with like Midwest USA.
Yeah, I like
I
that
really
too.
like that.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
like how that plays over into
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like what's been set up. I like we were into Trump territory now and cricket culture. This is really good.
Yeah.
First thing I thought, like I wanted to mention on that point, someone wrote in this week saying, you know, is Biden, is Joe Biden the first Democratic nominee who's essentially a teeth-based selection? just because we're in the US, you know.
Yeah. I like it.
So it could be.
Yeah.
Not much else doing upstairs. But
Nah. He's
I hope he gets it.
deteriorating rapidly.
Yeah.
God bless his
Yeah.
soul.
Bit dotty.
A little bit dotty. Got him up.
Dan Andrews gonna have to go off the top here.
Everything's fucking cricket.
Dot
Can't
him
escape
up.
it. Can't escape
him
it.
up.
Can't escape it.
You know, God forbid, like touch wood, nothing, you know, like that ever happens to your family member, but you're still gonna have that reflex in your head, aren't you? Go, hey, dot him up here.
You hear words and they just
Yeah.
like trigger straight into it.
Exactly. So yeah, your thoughts aren't you.
It's not just champ. It's fucking everything. Any word can do it.
Yep. Anyway,
Oh, yeah, slug.
you never, yeah. Look at this slug here, son. Oh, there's Bo Webster in my head. How are you listening? I'm just thinking about Bo Webster.
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Come on.
Look, the thing with this is that you're never as good as you think you are when you return to the game. You have. I mean, we've talked about this
Yes.
before. Like you think, oh, I'm going to be able to execute at this level.
Yeah.
Now I've gone to play in the US.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm the king here. I'm actually from the home of cricket. I'm going to teach these guys a thing or two. There's always
fish.
going to be 2 or 3 people who are genetically better than you and come from the same situation. They love the game more than you. They're already there.
Yep.
You're never going to be able to achieve what you can now. Part of that is that you think, well, I'm so good, I'm going to apply essentially pro cricket level statistics as my standard.
Right.
You know, I'll go average 50, etc.
Yeah.
Here's the deal: unless you're a pro, nobody averages 50 at anything. Not even at grade cricket. Like the top 10 run scorers or average getters in first grade cricket, I reckon the bottom 5 will be 35.
Yes.
35 to
Yeah.
40 or whatever. People literally just they can't hang in there that long without making a mistake. So lower your standards for starters, Paul. 30's good. 30's a good score. We're going to do a live show bit on that whenever we're able to get out. We're going to prove that a score of 200 is good in all levels of cricket apart from pro cricket, and that 30 is a good average and 30 is a good score. Anyway, that's why
30's fucking amazing.
30 is a great score,
Yeah.
and we all laugh at it, but we deep down know that it's a really fucking good score, and I'm going to keep my spot next week.
You score 30 on Saturday. You're in the car on the way home. You're thinking, job done.
And you've got
day out.
you've got good reason to think, we laugh about it, but I don't want to give too much away. 30's 50, and I'm going to mathematically prove it. 30 is the pros 50. So realistically, but ultimately, he goes, you can't, like, unless you're a really good cricketer, it's not going to be in your makeup to dominate. You can't dominate any level because you don't actually know how to win or dominate, even if you're in Midwest USA and no one plays cricket, because you've never done it your whole life. You don't actually know the feeling of winning. So don't ask too much of yourself. You can dominate if you are playing against geriatrics, children or people with physical disabilities.
Yep.
But even then, as we learn, nothing can be taken for granted.
You know, when I like the idea of like going to the US and be like, I'm going to be the best player in this country. But it's like when you start a new job at the office or you've been working at the office for a while and you're like, no, I'm the athlete here.
Yeah.
And then someone will come in and just be like, oh, this guy's got 7 caps for Queensland.
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's
Fucking
sake.
hell. Every year.
Now I've lost my identity.
Who are all these people who are good and actually don't care about the game?
Just goes to show there's like, because like you think about, so how many people have played England under 19s, Australian 19s, you know, fucking whatever the second best team of rugby in the All Blacks is, you know, like there's so many people every year who played Australian 19s who don't make it, who stop playing when they're 20 because
Or just
whatever.
first grade.
And
Yeah.
like there are so many of these people around in society that they're just going to pop up every now and again.
Yep.
And if you exaggerate your statistics to someone and they just keep their counsel, they're like, oh, you play a bit? Oh, I stopped playing after I got my first rookie contract because oh no. You know?
You kind of like, I've never been here, like you draw it out, wouldn't you? Yeah, I played a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Does, Yeah. Yeah, just play. And you talk about it like you're playing with friends in front of other corporate colleagues.
Yeah.
I used to play a bit when I was younger, yeah.
Yeah.
And like, who'd you play for? I was playing down at Balmain there.
Yeah.
Are you M. Smith from the...
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so...
In the corporate scene, he's like, can we get a good speaker? And I was like, I can call Smudge is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
He's Steve Smith.
Stephen. I just call him Stephen.
Stephen. No, my friend Stephen can do it, yeah.
Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope that answers it, Paul.
Good luck in the election.
Good luck to Joe Biden.
Yes. And Kamala.
Guy Fawkes writes in, hello, Ian and Sam. Due to the nature of my employment, I would appreciate if this were kept to Anon or even Guy Fawkes. Tried to torch Parliament in the 1500s.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the time to read my submission for #AskTGC. Heads up, there's a bit of an identity crisis and complete rethinking of my life choices to come, but I feel no one else will listen to me except two guys on the internet. Ha ha, space between the ha's there. There's been plenty of references by both of you to earnest conversations over the last few shows, both for the freeloading cucks and those of us who do indeed pay $1.25 a week to hear you two banter merchants chat shit with surprisingly humble fellas behind paywall. As I can imagine, most blokes like myself who once thought they were 12 tonnes in a row away from a baggy green do indeed long for earnestness and congeniality with guys they spend a great portion of their spare time with. Would a fucking hug from my dad go straight too? I need to draw on your recent earnestness to ask a question of you two roosters who have successfully given away the code. What the fuck do you do on a Saturday? Is my entire cricketing... And this is an important question, he goes, because summer's about to start. We've had a few others around this.
That's right, mate.
What am I meant to do? The question goes on, is my entire cricketing identity and therefore my decision to spend my Saturday playing the code based more on the fact that I could once upon a time bowl 120 kilometres on a decent spot, or am I just doing this because I know that my subpar rig won't stand up on the beach on a warm January afternoon? Is this playing this wretched game something I'm destined to do until the cricket-induced melanoma kicks in? Enlighten us all on how you broke free from this drug and how you managed to stay clean on a Saturday. No one that listens to this poddy actually likes cricket, and we all do, to some degree, want to break away from the game. To spin a quote from a wise man, embrace your weird, but instead embrace your earnest. Pesdo pasta and hig rickopotamus. Let us all know. If I'm not standing in the fucking boiling Australian sun doing fuck all except for hoping the ball gets hit as far away from me as possible, what the fuck else do I do? Loving the content lately, gents. Wish more blokes had big mitts and big hearts like Jason Frazier. Yours, Guy Fawkes. He goes, what have you been doing? How'd you break away? What have you been doing?
I don't know why that needs to be anonymous, but I won't question his motives.
He might be a test player.
Yeah.
Due to the nature of my employment.
Yeah.
I can't say that I want to leave.
Oh, Marnus, that's interesting.
Never knew.
I think like how I left the game successfully is just because I just had other things going on. I was so busy with other things that just like I didn't miss it. And then, I mean, I enjoyed my Friday nights when I was playing.
Friday nights, I got that down.
Let alone when I got out of it. But like now I'm just thinking like, what do you do on a Saturday? I can't tell you what it's like to have the freedom of waking up on a Saturday and realizing you've got the entire weekend. You've actually literally doubled your enjoyment of your entire life because a lot of people like live for the weekend, Pez, and maybe not the right way to go about things. But if you're a young person, the weekend is a great time to escape the job that you probably hate, get away from the parents that you don't. You probably spend a little bit too much time around. You're seeing your friends. You got a bit of money because you're in your early 20s, and your world's your oyster.
Friday night, weekend begins as soon as work finishes.
Friday night is easily the best night of the week to go out. It's fucking awesome because everyone's working their jobs that they kind of hate. Let the hair down. You've got 2 days to recover. Blow off a bit of steam. It's all good. That's the best one. So, like, I mean, don't worry about, like...
And what do you say to these blokes out there who are, screaming in their earphones, oh, man, I had plenty of beers on Friday night before cricket.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Well, yeah, okay, so fuck off. So, like...
you have a few.
You know what? You don't know what to do with your Saturdays when you have committed to a season of playing cricket on Saturdays and it's washed out. So then you haven't, like, legislated any time in your week where... you have Saturday off. So you're not organising to see your friends on Saturday. You're not thinking about like, oh, if I wake up early and go to a nice cafe, go to the beach or whatever. Because you've planned your whole, like, what's cricket season, 7-8 months? Something like that in Australia? Something like that? the whole time is like that Saturday is taken up. Sunday is like Sunday. You probably committed your 1 day week to your girlfriend because she's angry that she can't do stuff with you on Saturday like the rest of society are doing. So basically, like if you're busy enough in your life, you aren't worried about it because Saturday becomes a good day, or just get like really fucked up on a Friday and spend the day on Saturday and then recover on Sunday. Have one sober day of your life.
I couldn't agree more. Like, I mean, in answer to the first question, I can't remember what I've been doing since I broke free, really. Yeah. Is it like it's all just a bit of a mess? And like I've been doing this one thing, in the way that you think about cricket. On Saturdays and Sundays I play cricket.
Yeah. 8 hours hitting cricket balls, Jack Weatherald.
Yeah. But I know I don't spend an inordinate amount of time feeling nervous about cricket anymore.
Anxiety
through the week or on Fridays. Going to sleep on Friday, waking up on Saturday. Like, I'm not saying it's, full on anxiety, but just a butterfly. It's just these kind of extra, like, elements of pressure that are about, cricket being wrapped up in your identity for probably perverse reasons, but are still there, rightly or wrongly. You don't have to worry anymore when you leave cricket. You don't have to worry anymore about playing 4D chess when it comes to cricketing social interactions on the field and off.
Yep.
Get to the ground late. Oh, who's the official timekeeper? Oh, no, it's not. I'm going to get a fine. It's just gone. You're just sleeping, brothers. Cafes, more, going to the water, sleeping in. Friday nights are yours again. Women in sundresses, if that's your bag. Bags.
Fifers, you mean?
Get a bag.
Yeah, fifer. Yeah.
Day drinking. Less sunburn, mate. All these things, and you don't I don't look back on the last 10 years ago. I've had all these things necessarily, but they're all. It's the availability of them. And it was the denial of that freedom while playing cricket as you get older with a job and other responsibilities that became problematic. It's like this game does not. I cannot give the amount of time that it wants.
Cannot give.
It wants. It's so demanding of my time, and even when I'm giving that time, I'm still not even involved because I'm not that good.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 blokes on the screens. Fuck's sake. Like on a Saturday day drinking is like, now that's a time where you can actually spend time with friends that you are emotionally invested in and you care about, and they will look after you in your hard times and they're there for your good moments. Cricket is like, I hope this guy fails so I can stay in the team and he gets dropped before me. That's the relationship you have in a club cricket sense. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway, let us know how you go for the season, Guy. That should be good. I think we should probably wrap it up there, mate.
Wrap it up.
Yep. You can find more of the hashtag RCGCs. The begins in voice of areas, patreon.com/cricketer. Thanks to Adam Gilchrist for joining the show again. Nice to see him on after 94 episodes.
Marnus next week.
Marnus is on next week. And then after that, some irons in the fire.
A few irons in the fire. Few irons in the fire.
See you next week.